Back at the Valley today, where the Addicts are 7 unbeaten. After the disappointing loss against Lincoln City midweek, the boys will be hoping to return back to winning ways in front of the home faithful. Bolton are the visitors this afternoon and come into the game sitting 4th in League One. Last year's playoff semi-finalists come into the game in excellent form themselves, having recorded an impressive 4-2 win away at Wycombe in midweek. With less than 45 minutes until kick-off, let's take a look at what we have coming up. We will hear from Michael Appleton, who spoke to CharltonTV ahead of today's game. We'll also speak to our Australian goalkeeper, Ashley Maynard-Brewer, as he focuses on keeping his place in the starting 11. And on Wednesday, the men's and women's first team met supporters here at the Valley for an open training session and sign-in session. We will take a look at what happened. It is a very warm welcome to you wherever you're tuned in from joining us today. It's a pleasure to have your company. Don't forget, you can still purchase your matchday streaming pass ahead of kick-off if you are outside of the UK for £10. I'm delighted to say I've got their company twice in a week. I am a very lucky girl indeed. It's my pleasure to work. Oh no, it is guys. Although it must be said, although it's a pleasure to have your company, Tuesday at times was a hard watch, Brownie. Important that we bounce back today against one of the best sides in League One.
Yeah, and we've struggled against this lot in recent years, so it's I think it's doubly important as a reaction. Results one thing, but I think there needs to be a reaction from the players themselves. I thought we fell well below the standards that they'd set. You normally see this new manager bounce, don't you? But this was more than a bounce. They sustained it for 7 games, and Tuesday came out of left field a little bit, especially after the start. But it really did deteriorate quite quickly, and so I think from sitting here today, I'd just love to see a bit more effort, bit of a much higher tempo, and actually see a team give it a go, effort-wise, because I thought we were seriously lacking on Tuesday night, for whatever reason. I
got to the ground early this afternoon, and already there was kind of a fizz of excitement, because it is a big club in League One coming here. The Valley has been a really good fortress for us. It's got all of the makings to be an entertaining clash, and for the boys in the dressing room, no more motivation needed other than we want a response and we want to show our worth against Bolton.
Brownie's right. I think after the first 10 or 15 minutes on Tuesday, where we got a great start, it fizzled out, and we was left wanting. In 1 or 2 areas, we was left wanting, to be honest, especially the defending. So I'll be interested to see Michael's team. Because that would have been a long couple of days, I think, for everyone concerned, and no one could complain if he makes changes, because the way the game went. I think we was probably lucky to get away with a 3-1 in the end. So Bolton, decent crowd hopefully, especially the away end, and we've got to respond.
One player we know won't be featuring this afternoon. If you haven't seen the news, unfortunately, the scan results for Chuck Zanuke were not what we would have wanted, Brownie. He's going to be out for a couple of months, is the synopsis so far. He will be a big loss, but Michael Appleton's going to have to plan accordingly without him. Yeah, you can't do anything about it. You wait for the scan. I thought the way he went down, I didn't think it was going to be good news. I think I text somebody on day, I don't think we'll see him before the new year, and sadly that's going to be the case, and he's had a big impact since he come back, so it's a huge loss to Michael in terms of the options he has. I read 1 or 2 things about should he have started him. Absolutely should have started him. His last start, I think I've got it in front of me here, was the 3rd of October before we started against Reading, and there was no indication at that point he wasn't going to be able to start and get through 60-70 minutes again. So I think if you want to, if I identify the issue is, sadly for me, and I had to suffer with this as a player as well, was the length of contract we gave Chucks, knowing that he has the injury issues he has. That's not Chucks' fault. But what happens is what we're seeing is that you've had a guy that we've signed in good faith, paid a lot of money for, put him on a good wage, and we've barely got any performances out of him. So it's a big issue.
Talk about playing or not, I think, when you've got Miles who's been in and out as well, Michael's probably jockeying him around, and Chucks came on at the weekend. Chucks came on at the weekend, and Miles went off, and I'm sure the plan was at Lincoln, Chucks to start and Miles to come on, because they're both lacking fitness. But with Chucks, we've said it so many times, it's so frustrating because everyone can see what he can do, but unfortunately he can't get out on the pitch, and this is just par for the course now. I mean, really surprised it's 2 or 3 months, but you know that is par for the course. So I remember talking to one of the directors after a game, and we only had Alfie fit. Welcome to Dean Holden's world, by the way, you know. But we only had Alfie fit, and I was saying, you know, we need to bring someone in. We need to bring someone in, because it's a manager's problem if you've got 3 or 4 centre forwards. It's a club's problem when you've got 1. And you know, if anything happens in the next week or 2, we'll be down to 1, if you like. So yeah, it's really frustrating for everybody. But Michael's got to deal with it, and the players have got to deal with it.
I'm really looking forward to this game, because after a 9-match unbeaten run against Bolton Wanderers, they've done the double on us twice. But that being said, them coming here in this spell that we're in at home, I think 19 goals in our last 6 matches, it's actually the best time perhaps to play them, with a little bit of a point to prove for some individuals as well.
Yeah, you'd like to think there's going to be a reaction today. But we are up against a different animal. They're not bad themselves away from home, actually, Charlotte. I think they're 5th, 6th, 7th or something in the away form. So they're a decent side. They keep the ball very, very well. I think in most games they have a higher possession count than the opposition, and they're in not bad scoring form as well. So hopefully we can raise our game and match that and get the victory. But it goes back, I think, I looked at our home results the other day, and it's such a shame because the 2 losses were Port Vale and Bristol Rovers, who are not, you know, they're not powerhouses of this league, and we could have had an incredible home record and been much higher up the league if we'd have found a way to beat them. But yeah, we've got to bounce back, you know, and if we don't, it's not the end of the world, but it would be great to see a reaction today and a performance and a result.
Well, like Brownie says there, we are welcoming a powerhouse to the Valley this afternoon. Bolton Wanderers are in town. Let's see how Michael Appleton is going to line up for the match. I caught up with our head coach earlier today. Michael, after Tuesday's defeat, we're right back at it here at the Valley. How positive is it to have a home game after such a loss?
Yeah, it's very important. I think obviously the home form has been really good to us in recent weeks. We've had the performances to match the results as well, which has been pleasing. And there's no doubt today we're going to need both to get the result. We're going to need one of our better performances of the season so far against a really talented group of players from Bolton.
The home performances have been outstanding. The form's really good. What do you put that down to?
I think the fans play a huge part in that. I think there's been times in the games where there's been a little bit of a lull, and maybe they've seen that and they've got behind the players and they've stuck with the players. We've gone behind in games and they haven't got on top of them. They stuck with them. And I think there is a belief in the dressing room. Yes, we were disappointed the way it sort of panned out on Tuesday, but there's a belief in the dressing room that, you know, no matter how difficult the opposition might be, we can find a way of trying to win the game.
Yesterday we heard the news that Chuck Sanike is set for a spell on the sidelines. How do you prepare for the time without him?
Difficult, because obviously, you know, it's not one of them where it's in the middle of a window or the window's, you know, that close that you can try and affect it, because he is that type of player. He's huge, he's massive to the group. But what you have to do is find a different way of your approach. Obviously, Chuck's certainly makes an impact coming off the bench. We know that, and that can play a big part, obviously, going forward. But I think our approach has to be slightly different. Maybe pick our times and our opportunities when to go into central strikers. We might have to obviously switch the play a little bit more.
On today's lineup, can you talk us through the changes that you've made? Yeah,
I mean, obviously, in that right-back position between Nathan and Tanai, they've got a little bit of a battle going on. I thought it was a tough night for Nathan the other night, and it was a tough night for the back four as a whole, really. You know, they weren't as aggressive as they've been in certainly recent weeks. So Tanai gets the opportunity today. And then obviously up top, you know, we're playing against a side that certainly with the ball are outstanding, I've got to say, at this level. But without the ball, they're very expansive and they're big and they're spread. I just think, you know, the likes of Alfie up top can exploit that. And I want to make sure that we're matched up in the middle of the park, because that's where they're really strong.
You've alluded to it there. What kind of test are you expecting from Bolton today?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I've said it before, you know, they're 4.5 years in the making. If they're not the sort of best side in the league, they're certainly in the top 3 in terms of what they do and how they approach the game and how they pass the ball. And it's good to see and watch at times. So, yeah, there's a big test for the boys. They know that. But having the conversations we had yesterday and sort of looking one or two of them in the eye, I think they're right up for it today.
Good stuff. And finally, you got the chance to meet supporters at our sign-in session on Wednesday, an epic sign-in session at that. How much did you enjoy the opportunity to meet supporters and get to know them a little bit more?
It was great. It was fantastic. I've got to say, at 2:30 on Wednesday morning, when I sort of pulled up back at the apartment, I'm thinking, oh God, is that a good idea tomorrow? But I must say, like, the players were fantastic. The fans and the kids that turned up were great. Everyone had a good day. Obviously, the women's team were here as well. It was a bit of a marathon session of signing autographs, but I think I touched on it at the time. It was almost like a little bit of therapy for me, because, you know, normally in them situations you can be a little bit stewing at home, sort of going through the game over your head time and time again, but I wasn't allowed to do that. You know, I had to put a smile on my face, which was probably at first was a little bit of a poker face, but then it was genuine, because I started really enjoying myself and relaxing, enjoying the day, so it was good, really good day.
Brilliant stuff. Best of luck today, and thanks for joining us. Great to hear from Michael there, and here is confirmation of the Charlton Athletic lineup today. Panucci Kamara will start for the Addicts for the first time since August in this afternoon's game. The midfielder is joined in the starting lineup by Tene Watson, as Michael Appleton makes 2 changes from that team who played Lincoln City in midweek. Nathan Asimwe and Miles Leeburn move to the bench, where they are joined by Charlie Kirk, who features in the squad for a league game for the first time since Michael Appleton's arrival. Curbs, can I get your initial thoughts to that lineup? You said that the manager could be forgiven for making several changes. In the end, just a couple.
Yeah. I'm looking at the front three, which is really pacey and a lot of movement, and perhaps that's going to caused Bolton a few problems, not knowing the Bolton back four, but it sounded from Michael there that they're a big, strong outfit, so he's gone for pace up there. Kamara, we haven't seen enough of, but he wants to get in the box as well, so I like the look of our attacking side of it, with Dobbo and Fraser perhaps holding. It's the back four that we've got to be concentrating on a little bit. He's changed the right back, which I think that he's saying there's a bit of competition there. You can't go around changing too many of them, though. I think basically he might have said to one or two of them, this is a game, you've got to do it. Because I think Ness will be sitting there thinking, I've got to have a chance soon, I've got to have a chance. So that's the team, that's the back four that's starting. It's up to you to keep your shirts.
Brownie, what do you make of the 11 today? We heard Michael Appleton speak, and very, very complimentary about Bolton Wanderers. He knows the kind of task it's going to be to overcome them today.
Yeah, I think if you're Louis Watson, you're probably scratching your head a little bit. I think he's done well enough. You know, he might be a little bit frustrated. Good to see Charlie Kirk back, despite, you know, his time at the football club. He's here, you know, and you need to find a way to utilise his assets. So it's good to see him involved. Rather than talk about the team selection, Coach has gone through that. I just think we need to stop making these errors that we're making and giving away soft goals. Like, we've been really competitive in recent weeks, and it's sort of certainly made me change my view of how we've played and how we've attacked, keeping the opposition away from our penalty area. And I thought we turned a real corner against Reading. People throwing themselves into it and making blocks, winning headers, getting tight. There was communication. We defended set pieces ever so well, and to see us go like we did on Tuesday, we were sat here off air going, we've gone a little bit back to where we were at the start of the season. Can we get rid of that? Can we go back to being really hard to break down first and foremost, with a real team ethic towards defending? Clean sheet mentality, I always call it. If I'm in a dressing room, clean sheet mentality, boys. Every decision you make, if the outcome is it could cost you a goal or an opportunity against, and just, make the basic decisions right.
I mean, if you look at our back four on Tuesday night, and I'm sure he was saying, Michael, he'd have watched it on the coach probably on the way home, and probably didn't sleep a lot, and we think, firstly, individual mistakes. So Jones has tried to win the ball and missed it, and the guy's great bit of skill, he's turned and got his shot off. Hector's tried to clip it over someone's foot on the edge of our box, and it's resulted in another really soft goal. So, you'd like to think that individually, whoever's starting today this is my job. I'm going to play percentages. I'm going to do it properly. I ain't going to do anything stupid today, because that's where we've been hurt. Out and out glaring mistakes.
Just like to say on Fraser, I wasn't saying Louis Watson should come in. I think the only way to get Fraser fit, like proper match fit, is to make him play again, because you just can't. I mean, we've said this for years and years and years. You cannot get fit, not proper match fit, in 23s, 21s football. So I can kind of see the argument for Fraser playing to push him through the barrier, because he did, although the whole team was struggling for energy on Tuesday night, but he did sort of find it difficult after about 55 minutes. And the only way you can do that is to put him back out on the pitch and improve his fitness levels that way.
That was an interesting thing. I mean, even George looked tired.
Yeah.
I know he puts a lot in, but you don't. You know, he's the one that you think can keep going. But he was huffing and puffing a little bit. You know, sometimes as a manager you're thinking, did we train too hard? But it was only a day after. It was only a couple of days after they played on Saturday. I understand they went up on the day. Does that have an effect? You look at all them sort of things to work out. But then we started ever so well, didn't we? We started ever so well, but then as it got a bit tough, we then sort of melted off, and you know, it looked a little bit leggy. So yeah, let's be interested today how we start. We've got to start on the front foot against these, because the way Michael's talking about them, I'm feeling the worst at the moment.
Brownie, that sort of softer underbelly was exposed on Tuesday, and in the studio after the game we spoke about, actually sometimes when you know your backs are against the wall a little bit, you almost have to press that not panic button, but that alarm bell, get into a pattern, reset. With Bolton, then, will probably be some spells today where we might have to do quite similar, pack behind the ball a little bit. How do you imagine Michael Appleton is going to have used the time this week to instil that in the players?
Well, I thought we had. Is the truth to that. I thought against Reading we were second best first half, and we did find a way to keep that clean sheet when we weren't at our best. So the work's been done. I think you can see that physically the work's been done. What he's got to work out for me is not how we change today, it's how we go back to. Because I think there was 4 changes on Tuesday. So what I said after the game, what we said during the game, was Michael's got to work out who and why, not so much the team. Because there would have been things that happened on Tuesday night that he wouldn't have accepted. And it's whether it's a one-off or whether he's seeing something on a regular basis in training and during matches. And the difficult thing for him is when you're putting players in for maybe the first time under your management, can I trust that player on Saturday? I think that's what he's looking at for today. Can I trust the 10 outfielders that I'm putting out today to do what I'm asking them to do? Because I don't think they did what he asked them to do on Tuesday night. Whether that's concentration levels, whether that was energy levels, not being able to do it, that's all for him to work out. But I do think he has changed our mentality defensively since he's been in.
Well, we heard Michael mention the open session that took place here on Wednesday. Let's take a little look at how that event unfolded. I'm delighted to be joined by Jack and his dad, Jack. You have got pretty much every first team player signed on your shirt. How much have you enjoyed today? Everything, yeah. And what's it been like to meet your favourite players?
Really nice.
And look at those signatures there. Your shirt is complete, isn't it?
It is really cool to have all the signatures.
It's cool indeed. And Dad, how nice is it for you to bring your little one down, to meet the first team, to watch the session take place as well?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So for me, my dad was a Charlton fan growing up. They lived around the corner. Obviously, for this to be free at half term, for the kids to come along, the players are so engaging, so it's unbelievable. We're really, really grateful.
Who are you most excited to meet and have a chat with in there?
Oh, I would say Kamara. He's my favourite player.
Who's your favourite player?
Blackett-Taylor.
Corey Blackett-Taylor. Well, I can tell you he's in there. He's got his Sharpie ready and he's ready to meet you. How exciting is that?
Good.
And how nice is it to be able to, during half-term, bring supporters down to meet the players? We haven't really done an event like this for a long time, but it feels like the bond's really close between the supporters and the squad.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's definitely a different vibe this season to what we've had before. And all this helps, it gets a younger fan base, get to meet the heroes that they support week in, week out. So yeah, it's brilliant.
Well, I'm alongside even more Charlton supporters. The open training session's just finished. You're queuing up now to meet some of the players. What have you made of the day so far?
I thought it's really good. Really good. Like, the boys love it. Obviously, going to see the players as well afterwards, you know, it makes their day, makes their week, makes their year, you know, they love it.
That's brilliant. I'm sure you come here every weekend to see the boys play and the girls as well. What was it like watching a training session?
Oh, it was really good seeing all the players train, especially the goalkeepers, because I'm a really big goalkeeper fan.
There we go. So did you catch my chat with Ashley Maynard-Brewer?
Yeah.
And what did you make of that? He is such a quality goalkeeper, isn't he? He gave some good advice as well.
Yeah, that advice I might try when I get home, because he's going to take some shots against me.
Oh, there we go. You're roped in. This day isn't over after the sign-in session. You've inspired. And I just wondered, what does it feel like as a supporter to hear from Michael Appleton, from Karen Hills, the directors behind the football club as well? Because we're still under this new ownership 3 months in. It's important for them to communicate with fans as well.
Yeah, I think it's really nice. It's nice to see him on the pitch and just mingling with people, and his honest, open talk is really, really good.
So Lloyd, it is now 5:15, an epic sign-in session, but how enjoyable to meet the supporters and spend some time with them this afternoon.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Obviously, it's credit to them for waiting so long. It's really good to see putting smiles on kids' faces. So yeah, it was an enjoyable day out.
It was, and it was really nice as well to see how far people had travelled, how patient they were to wait in the queue. When you're a player, I suppose you come here to the Valley, your mind is focused on doing the business, and then you go home again. There's not always those opportunities to get to know supporters a little bit, and obviously you're new to the club, so nice for you to get to know them a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, they come in with their shirts, with their posters. It's brilliant. Obviously, shows the size of the club and the support they bring, and it's like I said, it's a brilliant day. We're
just wrapping up here at the Valley after a really awesome day, the open training session and then meeting and greeting all of the supporters. You're new to the club. Does this make it all part of the reason why you come to Charlton on days like this?
Absolutely. It's been so good. So many people have come with supportive words, really said they've really enjoyed the day. A few have said that they're going to come to our games as well, which is what we want. We want as many fans as possible, but it's just really good to put on an event like this to kind of give back to them as well as them come to us. So I think it just makes the bond between the fans and the players really strong.
There was such a nice energy throughout from the open session going into the sign-in session this afternoon. In the women's game, you are all so good after a game finishes, spending time with the supporters. I don't think any of us expected the scale of today, and to meet so many Charlton fans must have been really nice.
Yeah, no, definitely, but I think it's good to engage with the fans, obviously, to get them along to games in the future, and it's nice to see how many came down today to speak to us and get signings off us and to bring them along to our games in the future.
The last man standing, Corey Blackett-Taylor. You must have signed hundreds of signatures today, but how nice has it been to have the opportunity to meet the fans that are normally singing your name on the terraces?
Yeah, it's good, I think sometimes you don't always get to have the interaction with them, so even when you sign and you hear some of the nice things they have to say and sometimes have stories, it's good to hear, so I enjoyed it.
And we'll be back here in a few days for the visit of Bolton, and looking forward to putting on a fantastic performance for these supporters who've not only travelled far today but travel week in, week out.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as you said, when you interact, some of them tell you where they sit and stuff like that, and some of them might say do a celebration, so it's good to hear their share their stories and stuff, so it's you almost want to play even better sometimes when you hear what they have to say, so looking forward to it.
Well, look, you've definitely earned a break. Put your feet up, rest those hands as well after doing all those signatures, and best of luck for Saturday.
All right, cheers, thank you.
Well, I was down here not taking part in the open session, just hanging around and chatting to the players, and plenty of supporters as well. And I must say what a pleasure it was to meet many viewers of Charlton TV. We got a few compliments. We're loved out there, guys, which is nice, especially you two. On a more serious note though, Curbs, those events really are so important, and I think it honestly took the players and staff by surprise when the queue was, I'm telling you, going all the way from here to the club shop.
And let me tell you, they'd have got on that bus Tuesday night thinking it's the last thing we want to do, meet the fans after disappointing result. But as Michael said in his interview, it gave them all a lift. Instead of moping around all day, thinking about the game and whatever, they was actually getting a few compliments, and one or two of the kids were just so happy, to see him. So yeah, and it always works well, the open days.
I think that's a much better judgment of the majority of the fan base. I think your phones and your laptops, it can be quite dangerous, can't it? Whereas when it's physical and in front of you and you see the response, they can't have failed to have gone home with a bit more of a spring in their step, considering what happened Tuesday night. But I was just saying to Curbs, we used to have the open days at the training ground, and they pedalled me out as a keeper, and I'd have to save penalties for about 3 hours. And whether they were 4 years old or 35 or 60, I was just standing there all day in the wet and the rain, diving and
all the lads had gone in.
Yeah, and everyone else is in having, and I was out there just trying to, And people, they loved it when they smashed it past me. I didn't save many, to be fair. But yeah, no, they're fond days though, actually, I have to say.
Well, in all fairness, we was trying to build the club in every aspect. Coming back to the Valley, along with Jason Morgan and all the things that they were doing on the community, we was interactive as well. And we needed to, all the 7-year-olds that were supporting Charlton when we left the Valley, would come back and they're all 14-year-olds supporting other clubs. So the idea was to do as many of these open days and whatever we could do to raise our profile in the area, and hopefully see 1 or 2 young lads walking around with a Charlton shirt on instead of everybody else's shirts. And obviously, over the years it worked for us.
Well, it has worked, and I always say when I get the opportunity to meet supporters, my granddad was a Charlton fan, it's a club that's in your blood, and that was what was so lovely about the open session. When I was driving in thinking, what is the mood going to be like today, having only been here a few hours before, it was amazing, and so many families, all different age ranges as well. You mentioned, Brownie, how they were happy memories for you as a player, and that is going to give the boys a boost after what was a tough away trip as well.
Yeah, they were. I don't recall doing it too many times after a tough night and an away game, but whenever we did them, it was a very good turnout, always a very good turnout. And like I said, I think when it's physical in front of you, no one's really negative. People are always positive.
I think also, Barney, they played the game. They're coming anyway for a warm down nowadays. Yeah. It's a warm down, isn't it?
I think they had Thursday off. That's what I was told.
Yeah. Come down for a warm down and take their mind off it, really. As I say, instead of moping around, wondering if I'm going to get dropped at the weekend, that's.
That's every day for me, Charlotte. Every day.
Or waiting for the manager just to pull you to one side and discuss the game with you. It's took all their minds off it, and probably Michael, the way he was sounding, it done him some good as well.
Yeah, I think, his point was, obviously, most times managers will have a pre-season. They're a little bit more informal. You get the opportunity to do that a little bit more. And I think Michael and his coaching staff just found it a really nice opportunity. And even speaking to Corey Blackett-Taylor, you saw a little snippet of it there, but off camera, he was saying that actually he hasn't really done an event like that with the supporters before. So even having those interactions of people saying, I cheer for you here, or can you do this goal celebration for me? It's those little things that you don't realise people like me don't realise from a player's perspective, that can make all the difference as well. They're not robots, these footballers, and it's nice that they have those opportunities to do so.
Yeah, I'm surprised that's his first sort of interaction though. He's been here quite a while now.
I think it was just the intent, like Brownie, when I tell you the intensity of the amount of people that he met, he's probably obviously signed signatures and stuff like that, but having literally, I think about 600 odd people.
Yeah, no, I never had that.
600 odd people wanting your signature. Well, let's move on and back to today, because I can safely say I think we've got the pick of the games to look forward to in League One this afternoon, but there is plenty going on elsewhere as well. Third place Barnsley take on Fleetwood, while the fixture between Blackpool and Peterborough sees 6th place host 5th place. Bristol Rovers parted ways with Joey Barton this week. They host Northampton Town this weekend. 2nd place Oxford United host Wycombe Wanderers, while league leaders Portsmouth travel to Reading. Elsewhere, Blackpool are 6th and take on Peterborough, who are 5th. Curbs, another managerial sacking. What did you make of the departure of Joey Barton this week?
Well, I think that clubs now have got into near around about November, and that's when you tend to see managerial changes, because that gives the manager a month or two to assess the squad. Then the window opens up, you can go to the board and say, I think we need to strengthen here, do this, do that. So this is a rocky time now for managers, these next couple of weeks, and you're probably going to see 1 or 2 more. Jay Barton, I think sometimes you're on a hide into nothing at some of the clubs. Another one gone. Yeah, let's not forget we was the first one, weren't we?
Yeah, we were. Yeah, and early. But I think they've been taken over recently, and He's just lost 2 and drawn 1, which normally isn't enough to sack a manager. And I just wonder if the takeovers had something to do with it. They got different plans, but you know, he's had a tough run of fixtures actually. Oxford's in there, Peterborough's in there. You know, and the only one really that is a surprise is the 4-1 loss at Burton. But they've pulled the trigger quick, so they must have a different plan, I guess.
And Brownie, I mentioned that 5th versus 6th battle. We've played both Blackpool and Peterborough. How do you think we can compare to those sides in and around the playoffs?
Yeah, I thought we gave a really good account of ourselves against Blackpool, if I'm honest. I know we went 2-0 down, but I thought the response second half was excellent, and we were unlucky to go 2-0 down. It was an error again from us defensively. But, you know, we showed good spirit that day to come back. We got back into it at 2-2. I thought there was only 1 team in it at that point. So I think when we have everybody available, which sadly we're not going to have for a while, but when everybody's available and we're at it, we're competitive with the top half of the league for sure. There are some stronger ones than others at the top end, but we are in there and amongst it. But it's consistency for us, I think we lack at the moment. And obviously we have our injury problems.
Consistency is a big word indeed. Now, after that excellent Derby Day victory against Crystal Palace women last weekend, some of our addicts are on international duty this week. We'll see an image shortly of some of our players, including Mel Johnson, who was selected by Jamaica, while Rebecca McKenna and Kaylee Green are with Northern Ireland and Wales, respectively. The club's co-captain Kira Skills and Mia Ross were selected for England's under-23s, while Freya Godfrey started for England under-19s in the week. We've also had one player from our PGA called up for international duty. Ornella Barger has been selected for Albania's under-19s. And Brownie, I just love to see our players representing their countries. No greater honour.
Yeah, and Freya, obviously, you know, we've got on loan from Arsenal. It's good to see her, regardless that, you know, she's on loan. She's got back into that England setup, which is great to see. But Curbs, you've had another vote this week, haven't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's interesting because when they send it through to me, I have a vote on the women's managers of the month and goal of the month and player of the month, both leagues. So I get to see quite a lot of it. And now and then Karen Hills pops up, and then underneath it goes, now don't be biased, right? But at least to say she's in the frame.
Absolutely, as she should be, because she's done an incredible job, and I had the opportunity to speak to her at the open session as well. And you know, the consistency that you see that she has brought, taking the team into that professional model, and it's so competitive in the Barclays Championship.
And it doesn't matter whether you're a youth team manager, you're the first team manager, or you're the women's manager. You are beating Crystal Palace is a massive tick.
Absolutely, absolutely it is. Well, talking about our women's team representing their countries, there have of course been several of our men's team representing their countries too. I caught up with one of them, Ashley Maynard-Brewer, who had a great evening on Tuesday despite our defeat. Here's our conversation from earlier on. Ashley, a new season has come with fresh challenges. How much are you enjoying life under Michael Appleton?
Yeah, it's been great. Obviously getting a few results and winning games. It's great. I think we just need to keep going. The gaffer's been really clear with his messaging and what he wants from us, and I think the boys have really taken that on. And yeah, you can see that in the way we've played.
You've had Harry Eister come in and compete with you to be first choice. How much do you enjoy that competition?
Yeah, it's been great, especially with a character as great as Harry. He's a very positive guy, good to have around the group. And yeah, it's been keeping me on my toes and yeah, got me pushing to be better.
Brilliant stuff. And Stephen Henderson was recently appointed goalkeeping coach. How much are you learning from him?
Yeah, lots. He's very experienced guy, played a lot at a good level. Serious, intense bloke, and his sessions have reflected that. It's been a good challenge and great to have him around.
It was brilliant to see on the recent international break you with the Australian squad. What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was good. Very, very different experience. My first time in the States, we had a game there against Mexico. It was good to get away from Charlton, see what the Australia team was about, speak to the different coaches and players, and take what I learnt there back into here.
You brought that positive experience back to the Valley because last time out it was a clean sheet and a really good win as well. How important is it to keep that positive mood up here at home?
Yeah, great. If teams can come here, fear us, and we can play our best football here, then yeah, we're going to be successful this season.
What kind of test are you expecting Bolton Wanderers to pose today?
Yeah, big challenge. They're one of the best teams in the league. I think it'll be a good indicator for where we're at and how we're doing. If we can get 3 points here, it'll be a great marker to put down, and yeah, going forward for the next few games would be perfect.
Finally, we had a bit of a chat at the open session on Wednesday before an epic signing session after that. How nice was that opportunity to meet fans and to spend some time with them?
Yeah, it was great to see the amount of young fellas coming to meet us and eager to be around. It was awesome. It was great to engage with the young fans.
Brilliant stuff. Good luck today.
All right, thank you.
Brownie, he lost his place just before Dean left, but he was ready to go once he got his opportunity again, wasn't he?
Yeah, you have to be. Yeah, and you know, when you come out of a side, it is disheartening. There's no two ways about it. But what, you can go, you know, one of two ways. You can sulk about it, or you can go, right, why have I been left out? What can I do? And always the answer is you've got to get the eye of the manager again. He's picking the team. He's the one that you've got to impress. So the only way you can do that if you're not in the side is in reserve games if you have to play in them, or on the training pitch. And that's all you can do is knuckle down, work harder, and try and understand why you've been left out. Sometimes it's really blatantly obvious. Sometimes it's not. And then when you get your chance, you're ready. You know, physically ready and mentally ready because you've worked hard on the training ground. And I would say the last two games he's been excellent. I know we lost 3-1 Tuesday, but I thought he made some excellent saves in that game, and I thought he was a terrific first half when we needed him to be against Reading. You know, so he's done his bit. He's come out, he's taken it on the chin, he's worked hard obviously and come back in and is performing well.
Curbs, Brownie said there that you almost need to catch the eye of the manager, and Ashley's performances in recent weeks, especially that on Tuesday, will have caught his eye. And how good and important is it for him to get a run in the team?
Well, I think, yeah, the disappointment of being left out, and you know, he's benefited obviously from the injuries, and but he's grabbed it, and he knows that Michael's brought another goalkeeper in, so he's got a little bit of pressure there. But what I quite like about him is, as Brownie said, when a player gets left out, especially a goalkeeper, I mean, that could be long term. Yeah. You know, an outfield player, the team can get changed round, go free at the back one week, or you could change it completely. Yeah. But goalkeepers very rarely get changed unless it's a disaster. So yeah, so now he's probably looking at it thinking, I've got the shirt back, and you know, I'm going to have to make sure I don't put it in jeopardy again. And as Brownie said, he's made some really good saves, and he's been one consistent player we've had in recent months.
And with Harry Isted being out for what looks to be quite a considerable period, he's got some time to claim his stake in the team as number one, hasn't he, Ashley?
Absolutely, but there is a pressure there. You know, we have brought Sam in, and obviously Sam will offer competition. Slightly different situation, I think, than if Harry Isted's pressurising you, but you've still got to perform. You still got to understand that if you fall below a certain level, Sam will come in and take your place, and he'll love to be involved at the Valley. So, you know, you've got to be on your toes. I mean, that's pretty much the same for everybody, really. But the point being, he was in sort of major competition, fighting for one or two, in the number one spot, sorry. And now you kind of think he is number one, and it's down to him to lose it now. Whereas before, you know, I think Harry was pushing to win it, and that might not be the case with where it's set up at the moment. So it's his to lose. Performances like against Reading on Tuesday can only strengthen your position.
Curbs, can I just get your thoughts on a conversation that was a bit more prevalent earlier on in the season in the higher echelons of the game about rotating goalkeepers? Is that something you would have ever considered?
No, not really, no. I quite like the triangle, you know, the two centre halves and the goalkeeper. No, I can't see that. I think, in all fairness, there's a number one and a number two, and you know, obviously that changes with an injury or you make the change. But I think goalkeepers, it's a different breed, and I think that perhaps they need to know they're number one and number two.
They are a different breed indeed, aren't they? Go on, Browning.
No, I was going to say, if anything, he was too fair to a couple. I thought one or two got a little bit longer than they should have done.
Brownie should have gone in.
Yeah, Brownie should have. You were trying those eye-catching performances to go between the sticks.
I tried every week, but on pitch, in goal, anywhere I could try, I'd give it a go.
Well, back to today, and a couple of changes have been made by Charlton's manager Michael Appleton. We're going to take a little look at how the teams will be lining up for both sides as well. Brownie, I know you always do your homework on our opposition. Who should we be keeping an eye out for in a Bolton shirt? I mean, they have strength everywhere, don't they?
Yeah, but Dion Charles is in form at the moment in terms of goal scoring and his strike partner as well. I mean, he has 5 goals, but I mean, Dion's the one. I always liked Santos. I think Ricardo Santos, you know, you say they've got the beating of us in the last couple of years. He's been outstanding on a couple of occasions. We've watched the captain at centre half, and they've been playing a back three. and it's been working for them. But they've pulled out one of the centre halves today, and I can only see the left wing back tucking inside to make one of the 3 centre halves, and Randall Williams coming in at left wing back. So look, they have a set formation that they stick to. The front two are pivotal in terms of putting them on the front foot. But I mean, one of the stats that sticks out like a sore thumb is they've scored in 16 of the last 17 games. You know, so they're dangerous on the front foot.
They got 4 in midweek.
Yeah.
And Curbs, only 2 points from possible 15 against the sides in the top 9.
Who's that?
That's us.
Yeah.
How interesting is it going to be for us to gauge where we're really at with some of the top boys, big hitters?
I thought Tuesday night's game was a real big game for us, considering the run we've been having and the away form, which, you know, desperate to win. I thought that was a really big game, and now the focus is on this one. I think that we tend to respond against the bigger sides, and when they bring some fans, it makes a different atmosphere here. So I'm looking forward to the start, because I think with Alfie up top, I'm sure we're going to turn them around. We're going to put them under a bit of pressure. We're going to force them into their half, and then fine. Possession football's fine if you're in their half, and it's up to you then, when the passing becomes a little bit shorter, to be better and quicker and etc. But, you know, we've got to get on the front foot, especially against the team that everyone's talking about at the moment.
I'm really looking forward to it too, and actually I must say the atmosphere, we sometimes don't necessarily hear it in the studio here, but I can hear that drum beating away, and it's going to be a great 90 minutes, hopefully a really entertaining one as well. And just a reminder to those of you who are at home watching on YouTube and Twitter to get your live streaming pass for today's game for just £10 to be able to watch Charlton TV's multi-camera production of today's game. Brownie, just looking out there now, it looks like a decent crowd, plenty of Charlton supporters coming. I was mentioning to the guys off camera how many friends and family I know that are coming to today's game, because we're building that momentum a little bit at home. Very important to continue that today.
Yeah, I think we all say